Good morning, everybody. Can I have your attention, please? I'm very happy to announce that the grand event of second MHM India Summit is going to start within a few minutes. And Mr. Ajit Vikram will be the master of ceremonies. And I invite Mr. Ajit to please come and occupy his place.
Check. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking time, finding this gathering important, traveling kilometers from various parts of the country, from the world, finding the importance of mental hygiene and management, finding the importance of the people present here, and joining us this morning. I'm excited. From 26th and 27th of September 2019, what happened in Delhi during the MHM Summit 2019, I have been excited. I have been excited and curious to know the kind of developments that are happening in this fraternity. I am excited to see the kind of passion people bring to the table. And I'm very excited to see the kind of achievements each one of you are having in this momentum that was created. I congratulate all of you. I congratulate everybody behind this initiative, and I welcome all of you for this wonderful summit of the year 2022. For our next proceedings, I would like to invite a few people on stage. I would like to invite Dr. Geeta Jagan with a round of applause, please. I would like to I'd like to invite Mr. Ravi Bhatnagar on stage, please. And somebody all of us are eager to meet, Mr. S. Damodaran. Please join us on stage. Also, if we could please have Dr. Rajan Samuel on stage. This is for the inauguration. Welcome, sir. Please join us. I would also like to call Mrs. Sneha Shergill on stage. Could you join us, please? Mr. Manas Rath, I was very happy to see you this morning. Please join us on stage. Also, Ms. Preeti Damodaran, the one person who has been constantly working towards the success of this. I know that you slept at 3 o'clock last night. This morning. I wish you all the best for this summit, and I wish everyone the very best while you take away from all the proceedings of the summit. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Dr. Geeta Jagan for the welcome address. Yeah, I think we'll have the lighting. Okay, so before we have the welcome address, I would like to invite Mr. Nagaraj. Thank you so much. We will have the lighting of the lamp, prior to which we have a quick inauguration music. Yeah, sure. Can we have the invocation music, please? Sure. Yeah. Dear Dr. Padma Venkat, we also request you to come on stage. Huh? Okay, can we have the invocation, please? Start. I So I request you to start the invocations, and later we can have the lighting of the lamp. Yeah, let's go. I request everybody to stand up, please. Sorry. Please.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிது எக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடர்கள் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிழை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழவை திறந்தியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you very much. I request all the dignitaries, the guests, to join us for the lighting of the lamp. Please join us, ma'am. Yes. Sir, please join us. I once again welcome all our dignitaries, Dr. Rajan Samuel, Mr. Nagaraj, Dr. Padma, Mrs. Sneha Shergil, Mr. Manas Rath, Ms. Preeti. We welcome all of you once again. Mr. Damodaran, welcome you and we thank you and congratulate you. We wish all the success and the best takeaways and the very best for the summit for each one of you. Check. Thank you very much, dignitaries. Thank you for that time. Now we would like to invite Dr. Geeta Jagan for a welcome address. Dr. Geeta Jagan, who is the Director of CSR at Gramalaya. Thank you so much for constantly being a backbone. We welcome you for the welcome address, ma'am. Over to you. Post this, we are going to have a speech by Mr. Damodaran, who's going to be walking us through the purpose of the summit. Over to you, ma'am.
Very good morning to one and all. So on behalf of Gramalaya and SRM Institute of Science and Technology, so welcomes you all to Chennai for our largest conclave, second MHM India Summit. So congratulations and thank you to all for coming from all over India and other states also. Thank you. And so it is a welcome address. First, my hearty welcome Mr. Ravi Bhatnagar, Director, External Affairs and Partnerships, South Asia, Rekit, New Delhi. So, our hearty welcome, sir. Second, our Founder Director, our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. S. Damodaran, sir. He's on behalf of all of us. So, we congratulate to him. So, for the Padma Shri Awardee for 2022. So, welcome for the summit, sir. He is the chief patron of the summit. And we welcome Dr. Rajan Samuel, sir, Managing Director, Habitat for Humanity India. So, our cheerful welcome, sir. And next is Mr. Nagaraja Prakasam, angel investor, mentor, and fund advisor. So he's from Bangalore. Actually, he is doing a lot of social activities in things, water and sanitation. So our sociable welcome, sir. And on behalf of Gramalaya, so I welcome Dr. Padma Venkatman, Dean, School of Social Public Health, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Thank you so much, ma'am, for providing the space for conducting the summit. And welcome Mrs. Snega Sergil, ma'am, Mrs. India Queen of Substance. Actually, she is a yoga trainer, fitness, and other also social activities she is involving. She is the ambassador of menstrual hygiene management. Welcome, ma'am. And next, Mr. Manas, sir, founder of Leap Cities. So, our warm welcome to you, sir. Please. And I welcome Ms. Preeti Damodaran. So she is the organizing secretary of the summit. So she is doing lot of work and efforts for the summit. So congratulations, Preeti, and welcome. And welcome Mr. Ajit Vikram sir and Dr. Archana Patkar madam. So all of the speaker, Bindu Bhushan Dubey sir. So everybody and Ms. Suman, so from Delhi. So all of them so are coming from northern side. So you are having the long time travel and route to reach Chennai, and also you face some difficulties to reach hotel also. So very sorry for that. Immediately, so please contact us for any help. And welcome to our young bloods, all our students. So and for the summit. So thanks so much for coming. And this is a good summit, and you can get a very good learning from the summit for the future. So for the you have to work for women and adolescent girls. So that is a you have to create the bright future for them. So the welcome and for the speakers and delegates and stall prohibitors and also SRM University officials. So all are you welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Geeta ma'am. I mean, I would like to let you know that she's one lady who gets things done. And thank you so much, ma'am, for welcoming all of us and getting things done. Yeah. Okay, now I would like to come to a very crucial juncture of today, setting context, understanding the purpose of this summit. The next 2 days, what are we going to achieve? What are we going to take away that we can lay down for the next year or the couple of years? So I would like to invite Mr. S. Damodaran, the Padma Shri Award winner for 2022, to set the context today and also help us inaugurate a poster that we've been much waited for. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for all the way coming to this wonderful summit. I am really honored to have all our delegates, speakers, people on the dais, our friends, the students from School of Public Health for gracing this occasion. This is the second MHM India Summit we are organizing here with the support of School of Public Health. I congratulate, I extend my hearty thanks to Dr. Padma Venkat Madam, Mr. Suresh sir for having this wonderful summit organized here in this hall, auditorium summit. My special thanks goes to Dr. Ravi Bhatnagar from Rekit Group from Delhi. He is supporting in many ways Gramalaya in setting up of public well colleges and other communication support to Gramalaya. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to talk a few words about Ravi Bhatnagar, sir. Ravi, sir, in fact, studied in Loyola College for, and done his graduation in Chennai. Welcome, sir. So, Chennai welcomes you. Also, after that, he has studied his MBA program in TIS, Public Health program in TIS, and his post-graduation MBA program at Harvard Business School, associating as a Asia head now in Rekit. He is became the man in Banega Swachh India, Banega Swasth India, Mission Pani program, and in fact, one such Banega Swachh India Cleanathon program, Amitabh Bachchanji invited me as a speaker in that event, a day-long program at NDTV program. I was honored in that program. I met a lot of people working for sanitation and water in that program. So welcome you, sir. Thank you so much from Gramalaya and SRM University, sir. I welcome Dr. Rajan Samuel, sir, Managing Director, Habitat for Humanity International India. He is working for, welcome, sir. He is working for Shelter for Shelterless program. In fact, through HFH India, we made the Pondicherry state, the Puducherry state, 100% open defecation free state. More than 26,000 individual household toilets were built at an outlay of 100 crores funded by government, technical support from Gramalaya under a tripartite agreement with Government of Puducherry, Gramalaya and HFH India. Thank you so much for your support, sir. Welcome. I also welcome the HFH India partners who are all present here. More than around 10 partners have come to this program. we strongly welcome your presence here. Then I welcome Nagaraja Prakasam sir, fondly called as Naga. So he is associating with Gramalaya, the microfinance for sanitation program over the past 10 years period as an independent director representing Acumen. As a social investor, he has also worked with a lot of startup companies. He has earlier worked with an MNC company as a CEO in US, and he has resigned his post, coming down to South India, supporting many of the startup companies in southern India. I welcome you, sir. Thank you so much for your visit. I welcome Mr. Manasrat. In fact, he is associated with many international donor organizations. I used to meet him in every summit or conference and other workshops. Now he is leading Leap Cities, and he is supporting in a lot way startup companies, R&D program, water and sanitation, mostly in the urban areas. So thank you so much, sir. Welcome you on behalf of the summit events. Then now I welcome, Ms. Sneha Circle, the Queen of Substance. Our first summit was, she gave a very good, wonderful speech on MHM, motivating all our delegates and speakers. And I hope she will deliver a wonderful speech with you all in the inaugural session. Welcome you, Sneha ma'am. Welcome you. Thank you so much. And in fact, this summit is a very famous because of the support from Dr. Padma madam. She is the dean of this School of Public Health and College. She has studied from Cambridge University, and many friends talked about me. Padma madam, Dr. Padma madam is an expert like that, and one of my friends from insurance companies also talked about her very much. Thank you so much for all your support, madam. You are welcome. Yeah, thank you, madam. So I also congratulate the organizing secretary, Mrs. Geeta, Director of the Social CSR Initiatives, then the Preeti for working over the past 1.5 months in organizing the summit, inviting the speakers, delegates. So welcome, Preeti. Thank you. So before starting this summit purpose, I would like to talk about Gramalaya. Already in your conference kit, we have given a lot of write-up about Gramalaya. Gramalaya was started in the year 1987 with 3 of my college friends. One of my friend is still, Mr. Sarif is sitting on the corner of this conference hall. In 1987, we started with the aim of supporting for health and sanitation promotion. But later on, we found that many of the villages and the slums, the rural habitations, are lacking basic water and sanitation facilities. We have changed our vision and started working from 1987 onwards. We never diverted. We have never deviated from our main path, the vision and mission of Gramalaya, working for ensuring sustainable water and sanitation for all. So till today, we are working on that. Even now in this part of country, in Kurnool and the rural part of Tamil Nadu, our staff members are involved in toilet construction. Still, there are a lot of villages lacking individual household toilet facilities. We are working on. If you go back 30 years ago, the situation on sanitation was totally different. There was around hardly less than 30% sanitation coverage those days. But when Swachh Bharat Mission program started in the year 2014, the sanitation coverage increased considerably. In fact, every year prior to the SBM program, it was only 1%, 2% sanitation coverage every year. But after the SBM program launched, every year 10% increase, 20% increase. Now we have almost reached all the households with individual household sanitation facilities. Thank you so much for the concerted efforts from Government of India under Swachh Bharat Mission program, state governments, project functionaries working for providing sanitation facilities, NGOs involved, donor organizations like HFH, RECIT, and other organizations, Acumen, working for ensuring every household with toilet facilities. The 35 years of work by Gramalaya with the leadership of me, in fact, we know, people know that Gramalaya is working for sanitation. Only the donors knows about Gramalaya, where we are working, and the people know how much impact it has created among the communities and our staff involved. But only after the declaration of Padma Shri award conferred on me this year, 2022, it made me popular with all people working for sanitation all over India. Thank you so much for the Government of India for making me more familiar among all those sectors. To talk about the first India Summit, the India's first summit was organized in 2019 at India Habitat Center, where more than 180 delegates and speakers participated in the event. That made us, in fact, we have made a resolution at the summit. Every year we should organize that one. But due to COVID issue, the pandemic situation prevailed in the country for more than 2 years. We couldn't able to organize our second summit, but this time we are organizing at Chennai with the School of Public Health and SRM University campus. The important aspect of this summit, I would like to tell, it is not a donor-driven program. In fact, it is not funded by us. The delegates, the speakers, all are spending their own money. They are coming all along the way to attend the summit. They are spending their time with us. Just to get an idea, in the MHM summit, how experts say about what is MHM, how we can work in that sector, how we can promote eco-friendly products, how we can work with NGOs, how we can work with donor organizations, how we can work with student communities through the schools, adolescent girls MHM program like that. So I am really grateful to all the delegates and speakers. Thank you so much for your interest, making us more inspired on this summit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really, you are making this summit a more successful one. Why we need to work on MHM? I have visited the schools, government schools in Tamil Nadu, then in Bangalore outskirts like Ramnagar, then others South India school run by government. Many such schools lacking water and sanitation facilities. In fact, in Ramnagar area, we have visited a school where adolescent girls are studying in the middle school. The students are telling that for changing their sanitary napkins during the menstruation period, attending the school hours, they couldn't able to find a place or water for cleans themselves. So they need to go to their home, or they need to such a place where a business or in a small place they can hide, or they can get a privacy in that place. They can change their sanitary napkins, they can throw it on the same there itself, using an half a liter of water to clean themselves. And in many schools, the toilets are built by authorities or some other donor organizations or other clubs. But these toilets were not properly maintained. The O&M is lacking there. No water is there, and no men's proper people to clean the toilets. There's a problem associated with providing school sanitation program. Gramalaya currently engaged in construction of more than 550 school toilets at a cost of 5 lakhs each, the girls-friendly toilet structures. In South India, more than 450 school toilets were already built, which are maintained very well. It's a girl-friendly toilet structure with a space for privacy for the adolescent girls. The students could change their sanitary napkins, wash their hands. Hand washing station is also provided there. Gramalaya has so far built more than 600 lakhs toilets in South India over the period of 35 years. Still, we are working on that, building more toilets every day like that. So we are very thankful for the support from different stakeholders, the government, the state government, the central government, donors, the CSR funds, also running our adolescent girls menstrual hygiene education program in the schools. In fact, we have covered one district in Tamil Nadu that is called Pudukkottai district. Pudukkottai district, we have made a role model district in MHM intervention program where we are working on a 5 thematic intervention: water, sanitation, personal hygiene, menstrual hygiene, and nutrition. On all these aspects, we are working. It is a role model district in Tamil Nadu. Perhaps it would be a role model district in India, making every village the eco-friendly products reached, where reusable, washable cloth pads were distributed in the schools. And under social marketing, we have promoted more than 2 lakhs plus pads in the district. So please visit Trichy. In fact, the whole conference program was about to scheduled in Trichy, but due to many of our delegates and speakers asked that we need to travel a lot after reaching Chennai. So that's why we are making this event in this campus. Also, Dr. Selva Vinayagam, Director of Preventive Health and Medicine, about to attend this program, this inaugural session. But today, for a COVID urgency meeting organized by CM of Tamil Nadu, he is attending that event. He will come at any time. So thanks, my sincere thanks to him. So my sincere thanks to the students community from the School of Public Health, our delegates, our speakers, and our honorable guests today in the inaugural session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Check. Thank you so much, Damodaran sir. It's definitely encouraging, and it's a kind of roadmap already laid down for each one of us in this fraternity. I have visited one of their work, Gramalaya's work in the district of Kurnool, and I have seen the kind of work that has happened there, ground zero, and the kind of impact that people are benefiting from. And one element there which has really made a lot of difference is the information sharing and communication elements that are present there. And today, I would like to take this platform where Gramalaya would be launching and inaugurating a poster that they have made with related to menstrual hygiene and management with a similar line of information sharing and education. And this is a poster that we would like to inaugurate right now. Over to you, Gramalaya team, for the inauguration. All the dignitaries to join us for the release of the poster. Again, to reiterate, this is an information, education, and sharing poster. Yes. Congratulations, Gramalaya team, and everybody related to the fraternity. This is a poster that is going to be a key catalyst for all the do's and don'ts when it goes out there in the field. And I request all of you all to join us in giving them a huge applause in inauguration of this poster. Congratulations, Gramalaya team. Woo! So there you go. That's some hard work, but I think it's worth it. Congratulations, Gramalaya team. That is something that we should be very proud of. Some information and sharing and education going out totally for the complete country. And you will shortly see this in many places across the country. And we wish the very best for everybody who's going to be using these posters and implementing them at various places. And I suppose this is one of those first things again, like every time Gramalaya does, the first time in 2019 in the first summit, and this time again, one unique and benchmark set in the fraternity. Congratulations, everybody. Excellent. I hope it's not heavy. Thank you very much, everybody. Yes. Okay, so now we would have an inaugural speech by Mr. Ravi Bhatnagar, who is the director of South Asia External Affairs and Association on behalf of Ricket Ben Kaiser. And Gramalaya and Mr. Ravi go a long way when it comes to association, support, and the kind of milestones that all of them have achieved. I thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning from a distance and sharing with us things that are very critical for each one of us. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Namodranji. I met you formally first time during the grand launch of the Sanitation and Water Preamble for India, which was launched by Om Birlaji and many other dignitaries, speakers. Yeah. But before that, we have been seeing each other for a while because we belong to the same sector. I'm very happy to come here from Delhi all the way, and I prioritize this over many other things today. And what triggered my coming here is some of the posts by Gramalaya staff when they were coming from Trichy and other places in their cars, and I was seeing the pictures of the group on the Facebook, and some posters by Gramalaya team. I couldn't stop myself, and I thought, I will be the biggest loser if I don't go to this particular conference. There is plenty which is going on. UP elections are announced, results are there. I was supposed to be there today. I thought I should not go there because this is something which is more important for everyone, because voices are very important and maybe my voice is also very important, so it should be heard. There are a lot of students here. I'm very lucky to come to a public health institute. It reminds me of my every year visit to TISS Mumbai, where I basically inaugurate clairvoyance, which is for the School of Public Health, and it's for the all the fraternities of public health. Everyone's effort is a great effort who is sitting here. I'm sure there is one thing in common between all of us, which brings us here. That is a love for this summit and a love for Gramalaya and love for Mr. Damodar. It's great, sir. A few days back when he was nominated, I was just checking, our work also at Reckitt, what we do. I was seeing we reach to around 20 million school kids across India, and we aim to cover all the primary schools, which is around 850,000 schools in India by the end of 2022. One of the biggest thing is reduction in the school absenteeism by the virtue of our work. But alone we can't succeed. So we have 100+ partners ranging from Aga Khan Foundations of the world to Gramalaya to many others. Almost all the UN agencies we work with, ranging from the USAID to UNAID to UN Women to UNHCR and others. COVID was a tough time. 18 months were very tough. That also motivated me to come here because it's almost 3 months now, and this is my first public appearance in terms of attending any conference. Although there is a big conference lined up on 30th of this month in Peru, so I will be there. But still, this is the first speaking platform for me also. So what I learned in the morning is I met some very prestigious people on this dais. here also in front of me, and also I found a, you know, I found people from my own fraternity, which I call them my own because I'm also a hardcore rider. So I have two rider friends also sitting here in between us. So thank you so much. What fascinates me is the work what is being done by Gramalaya. When Mr. Damodaran came to Reckitt office around 3 months back, he was the one who showed me this GeoCare, which is led by Preeti and team. He was giving me, samples. Raviji, please keep these samples. I said, I am going to buy it. Sir, if I am wrong, just tell me. So I bought it. And you know what motivated me? His story on, Amazon ranking, which is around 4.5 ranking out of 5. He should not be doing the free sampling of this. So I told him, we have an angel investor here from South. I told him my investments are ready. And my personal capacity, like if you want to scale it up and money is ready, you just tell me like when you want it. But nevertheless, I have two offerings for Gramalaya, which I am there to offer. One is personal and second is professional. This is a bonus time, as many friends from the corporate sector may be knowing this thing. So my 5 lakh from my bonus goes to your next conference, which will come from my side to you guys. Thank you so much. Second is the official part. Official part is I really want to explore like the work what you are doing with Habitat for Humanity. Manjusha was there, I believe, in Habitat for Humanity a few years back. She had been approaching me. There's some wonderful work what you have done in Pondicherry and other parts of India, including Delhi. I really want to invest in the toilets for the girls and the menstrual cups and how we introduce in the schools across Puducherry, because it's a union territory, and few good things which happen in Puducherry, in Daman and Diu, Dadra Nagar Haveli, in Chandigarh, in the union territories. If we prove our model right there, I'm sure like others will be also learning. So with my Dettol hygiene curriculum, what we do across 6,50,000 schools, 2,500 gurukuls, and 500,000 madrasas across India, I'm sure a big part of this, institute where I cater to public, private, partly financed, fully financed. So we will be taking this whole, MHM concept there too, in terms of product and service delivery, in terms of popularizing how the geocare can be made approachable, can be made available. And I'm sure the Amazon ranking is 4.5. When we work together as two big brands, I'm very sure like it will further grow and you will find the markets in the other places also across the world. That was a marketing this thing pitch. Now coming to the social pitch. There have been a huge army of people with Gramalaya, but the work you are doing with us on the manual squenging, and you have the World Toilet Colleges with us. We will be having the 6 World Toilet Colleges out of 15 with Gramalaya in India. So so from this year onwards, 50% of the attendees will be the women attendees, who are the manual squengers and the sanitation workers. In these 6 places which we will be funding fully, I also want very strong integration of the MHM work, and resources is not the problem. We need to very beautifully integrate it, and we are there to support you in my personal capacity as well as Reckitt stands by that, because what we see is you know the lot of data which academicians have, which researchers have. More important is the work of the students who are motivated themselves, the missionaries, those actually who work on the ground, and not like me, like the guys who sit in 36,000 feet across, on the AC chambers and all that. So all kudos to you, and we need to have one call to action after 2 days of the summit, like what we are going to change by the virtue of our work. And my full support to the biking two guys also here, if they come up with a strong plan to take these messages, so my finances are open for them too. So that's what is there on offer from my side. And thank you so much, Preeti ji, everyone from Gramalaya's team who have put some lot of effort to bring like-minded people together. And I'm sure we will find the ways together to take it to Dettol Banega Swasth India when Mr. Bachchan is there on 2nd October live. Some of the proceedings from this particular summit, we are going to present it to him and to all the people like James Goodall and all that who comes on the summit globally, including, the Dean of the Harvard Medical College and all. So we have that mechanisms with us. Secondly, I have also requested our another channel partner, which is in the 18 states in India, Network 18, to actually also write about today's summit. If we get the proceedings of this, some of these proceedings will be going there, and the Hindu team will be coming here in next two hours. so that they can also do certain kind of things together. So these are small offerings, but all the small things in the ocean actually makes the pool bigger. And thank you again for bringing me to this place. And thank you so much again. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Raviji. That is first motivating, encouraging, and not only for the MHM fraternity, but also the biking. And I think each one of us, the students out there, I think there's so much that y'all can take away from there. Really appreciate all the participation, the contribution, and the promises. And I'm sure there is a long way that this fraternity is going to see with you. Thank you for that speech. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Rajan Samuel, who's the Managing Director of Habitat for Humanity. He will be delivering a special address for us. First of all, sir, thank you for making time and joining us. And we are very eager to listen from you. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to congratulate Mr. Damodaran and his team for putting this summit together. Two things that I want to highlight. One is there's purity of mission, right? The NGO world, everything sometimes we say is donor driven, but DA is not donor driven. It's supply driven, it's people driven, it's community driven. That is important, number one. Number two, there is a lot of convergence, commitment, synergy, and conviction in this room. I think we want to change India, we want to change Tamil Nadu, we want to change the people, the community. The change has to begin from us. And this is an excellent platform for us to accelerate the pace of change. We talk about change and transformation. So I really want to congratulate Mr. Damodaran and the dignitaries on the dais, for your purity of mission, for the conviction, so that we together can make a difference in our country. The second thing I want to talk about is, since there are a lot of students here, I changed my presentation. I want to tell you 3 stories, and I want to challenge you this morning, right? We are talking about change, pre-COVID, post-COVID. Yesterday night I was talking to my colleague of mine. Cryptocurrency is there to stay. I'm not trying to promote cryptocurrency, and it is already started by a company in UK, Crypto for Cause. And till yesterday, last night, they have raised $7 million. Someone is willing to match. Now, no 2 days are the same in India for the poor, right? So I hope this summit will look at something outside the box, something what we can do together in order to achieve 3 things. One is there's a need for us to scale the operation. There's a need for us to promote sustainability in everything that we do. Number 3, there is a need for us to ensure there is impact. When I say impact, I talk about social impact and also financial impact. The second thing I want to talk about, what is unique about this summit, is that there is hardware, software, and hardware coming together. Now, what is hardware? Let's take reusable cloth pads. That's the hardware. What is software? There are different ways of manufacturing the pads, right? You can talk about biodegradable pads, etc., etc. That's the software. What is the hardware? HEART. Can anyone say what is the hardware? That's about change. We are talking about behavioral change, right? So sometimes we are good in promoting the hardware, the bottle, Aquafina. We are good in promoting the software, how the water is treated, whether it's potable or not. But we are not good in promoting the hardware. Why should I buy Aquafina and not Bisleri? Why should I buy, GeoCare and not something else? So I think that's part of what I call as a behavioral change communication. Let me travel with me to Bihar. I was there 32 years ago, when I started my career. I come from the lending background, and I worked with a group of, tribals called Maltos. The Maltos are the diminishing tribe of India, and they die because, of a mosquito bite. And once a mosquito bites them, they have to have 17 injections, and if they don't, they die. And it's a diminishing tribe. And I was asked by someone from Chennai, and the gentleman told me, Rajan, I want you to come and kickstart the economy. There's barter system there. People are exchanging tomatoes for onions and onions for rice. Can you come and build the economy? Can you come and inject cash into this economy? So that was an assignment that I took 32 years ago. I went there and I saw this lady with a pot of copper vessel. She brought the copper vessel when I went there. The gentleman who took me said, he's from this organization. He has come to help you. And that's what he said. So this lady, the tribal lady, came and with a pot of water in the brass vessel, she washed my feet. After she washed my feet, she went back and she brought rice in the same pot. And so I was asking my friend, what am I supposed to do? He said, since they accepted you as their own, because the lady washed my feet, now it's my duty to eat the rice which was served in the same vessel. Now, the takeaway, why I wanted to share this story, because of the students, a lot of students are here, is that as far as the communication, I think the earlier speaker also spoke about communication, we have to think about narrow casting and not broadcasting. India is such a huge country. What I do in Bihar is very different from what I do with the Urulas in Tamil Nadu or with the Beals in Orissa. Because one size fits all will never work in our country. We're so diverse. So first thing that we need to keep when you're talking about communication is the culture of the people. Now we build toilets in Maharashtra with the tribals again. It's a place called Karjat. It's about 2 hours drive from Mumbai. Many families would tell me that we want the toilet inside the house, but 80% of them will say that we don't want the toilet inside the house, it has to be built outside. Right. So I think that's so. How are we going to? This is my first, proposition to the summit. How can we change our communication strategy from broadcasting to narrowcasting? The only way we can do is through technology. How many of you have smartphones here? Can you raise your hands? Smartphones, 80%. Do you know how many phones are there in India? Mr. Damodaran always talks about phones versus toilets, right? Do you know how many phones are there in India? Any guesses? 1.2 billion phones. Some people are not happy with two, probably they have three, I guess. But in terms of toilet coverage, Mr. Damodaran, for how many people we have one toilet? 1,000 people, one toilet? Yeah, 1.5 crores. So how can we use technology to promote communication? How can we use technology to change the behavioral and attitudinal behavior that we expect? I think that's my first proposition to the floor. My second story is in Orissa. We do a lot of lending as well. We partner with microfinance institutions, housing finance companies, and we make sure that every poor person or family has access to finance and technology in order to build homes. Habitat for Humanity is a global organization. We've been around in India for the last 39 years, and we have impacted almost 40 million people through shelter, wash, disaster response, and risk reduction. We believe that housing is the foundation for breaking the cycle of poverty. I always say that we don't build houses, we build homes. What's the difference between a home and a house? A house is built with brick and mortar, whereas a home is built with passion. A home is built with love. A home is built with dreams and aspiration of the people who live in that. I think that's what we do. So, in Orissa, one of the things we said is financial literacy. We talk about digital inclusion. We talk about inclusion. And many of us use Paytm, because we have no choice. I think I also downloaded Paytm post the first wave, and now everyone has access to a digital platform. So NASH is something that we introduced in Orissa. What is NASH? That means if you want to become, financially included, we talk about financial inclusion, you need to have the right amount of money in your account, because on the 10th of the month, the bank will take the money out from your account. So you need to have 1,650 rupees. That's an EMI from Dhanalakshmi. Now, Dhanalakshmi used to stay in a dilapidated house, and she's a fisherwoman. And so we helped 2 lakhs subsidy from the government, and we got another 2 lakhs from a housing finance company. And we do what we call as the housing support services. The critical thing, the takeaway from this second story is that there is a commitment. We spoke about emotional connect. I have an emotional connect to SRM University because I met Dr. Padma, when before my daughter joined, my daughter Jenny Samuel works here. So I do have an emotional connect with SRM University. So when you talk about shelter, there is an emotional connect. How many of us own a house here? I'm sure a lot of people own a house. They are not the students. So that's the first thing, goal you need to have, right? Of course, you want to get married. You want to have the best education in life, but you want to own a house. And MHM, is very much part of housing ecosystem. So we can't, de-link MHM, we can't de-link sanitation, we can't de-link behavior change communication, we can't de-link waste management, because it's part of the ecosystem, right? So what I learned from Dhanalakshmi and the families that we serve, millions of families that serve in Odisha, is that there is an emotional connect to the house that they have built. It's an asset that we create. It appreciates over a period of time. So if you see the statistics in India, people default on business loans, but I've never ever come across anybody defaulting on a housing loan. I'm sure, my colleagues here and others would agree, because for an Indian family, a house is an emotional asset. You work 60 years. My dad worked, 60 years before we bought a house in Bangalore. When he retired, he invested. But I could think of a house when I was 24 years old. And my daughter already is thinking of a house, I guess. So things have changed. So my second proposition, so my first proposition is, how can we use technology to change the way we communicate from broadcasting to narrowcasting? The second one is, how can we think about social enterprises, market-based solution to scale our operation? Many of our panelists are from this segment. They understand what is social enterprises. They understand what is investment. I believe that if you want to scale the operation in our country, we talk about house one, house two, and house three. House one is philanthropic money, CSR money. We can get started with that. But if you want to scale, you want to sustain, you want to have a long-lasting impact, we have to have market-based solution. So as part of my second proposition is that, I would propose that we create a fund, whether we want to, call it a social impact fund for MHM or for sanitation or for sanitation ecosystem. That will be my second proposition, because, the more and more we think about the demand that exists in our country, the opportunities that are there, we need to talk about scale. Because India, we are 1.2 billion people, and only 30% or 40% of our population have access to some of the things that we are talking about. So therefore, it's important for us to create, impact funds which are, sustainable, which can create scale, and we need to define the scope of it. So again, if we talk about the Irula community, we started working with them about 6 years ago. Some of the partners are here, and I met with this lady called Kavita. Now, Kavita never lived in a house built of brick and mortar. As you know, that Irulas in Tamil Nadu are second largest tribal community. They catch snakes and rats, and they are on the move all the time. Now, when we build a house, I was there for one of the inaugurations, not far from here, Mahindra City, World Cities, and I met this lady by name Anita. And after we dedicated this beautiful house, which is funded by BMW, she never entered the house through the main gate, the main door. Instead, she went back and she was entering the house through the back door. Now, I'm talking about communication, I'm talking about behavioral change communication. Why it's so important? And I spoke to Anita. உங்க மெயின் டோர்ல இருந்து ஏன் போல பின்னார டோர்ல இருந்து ஏன் வந்தீங்கன்னு கேட்டேன். அவங்க என்ன சொன்னாங்க தெரியுமா? சார், இந்த வீடு நீங்க கட்டி கொடுத்தீங்க, ஆனா அந்த வீடு வந்து மேல் ஜாதி ஆளுங்க நாளைக்கு வந்து எங்களை தூக்கி போட்டுருவாங்க. Because the land we got from the government, the first set of land that was allocated was taken away by the higher caste, upper caste people. They said, we do not have Irula families here. And then my colleague Sam, who's here, met with the collector, and we managed to get another piece of land. And when we were leveling the land, we found snakes and scorpions. That was a condition. But today I'm happy to say that more than 50 houses have been built there. And people like Anita can enter through the main door, not through the back door. because just creating an asset in India for the poor doesn't guarantee that you're going to change their attitude and behavior. It's a process, change in the process. We are not used to cell phones. Today we're used to smartphones. We do everything. We don't watch TV. We watch TV using our phones. Things have changed, right? And we transact through cell phones. We do everything through mobile. Yeah. So I think, let me talk about Kavita, and before I give my final remarks. Now, when I met Kavita in that locality, this is called Kilaranjipatti. It's about 22 kilometers from Pondicherry, and I was there post the first wave. And she told me that there are no COVID cases there in the community because we had promoted the kitchen garden, and then they were consuming all the vegetables. Now, what stood out, two key takeaways from Kavita's life story, is that she was able to start a small business, and two, she was able to facilitate 22 kids from the community who could go to the school for the very, very first time. And this happened, it's not because of Habitat. I don't think you should give any credit to Habitat. It's the ownership of the community. It is the commitment of the community. It's the passion of the community which kind of brought all of them together and connected all the dots. So it's the second largest, Irula colony in Tamil Nadu, but more needs to be done. There are 220,000 Irula families in Tamil Nadu. I know Damodaran and his team are working with them. In conclusion, let's look at the big picture. The need is great, the opportunities are great. So all of us need to come together, including the students, so that number one, how can we make this as a great movement where we are trying to see how can we communicate not through broadcasting but through narrowcasting. Number two, how can we create this fund, a sustainable fund, through which we can promote social enterprises, market-based solutions, so that no Indian is excluded, every Indian is included in this movement, where we together can build a clean, green, and vibrant India. Thank you and namaskar.
Check. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajan. I think many of us would want to personally meet you, and we would want to continue hearing more stories and more takeaways and more applications. It was just wonderful the way you connected the financial literacy, the narrowcasting, and the behavioral change that is required, and all the other stories that we heard. First of all, encouraging, and there's a lot that we can talk. We would want to learn more from you. Thank you for that speech and your time and your presence here. We want people to talk to you in the time that we're going to network. So, thank you, sir. I would like to welcome now Mr. Naga Prakasham, if I could call you Mr. Naga, who's from Bangalore, who's an angel investor, and behind a lot of initiatives that are happening across the country. We would want you to share your insights with us. So thank you so much for making time and joining us. We welcome you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Welcome.
Good morning. I think it's been exactly around 10 years. 2012, I just retired from my rat race, right? The corporate stuff, and I want to do something crazy. I got become a partner at Acumen Fund. It's one of the world's first impact fund created to solve many of the accessibility issues the world has. I was really amazed, the first few weeks of that, an Acumen call said, so you're from Madurai, and we have just invested in an organization called Gramalaya, and we would like to, become a director there. I was really impressed because it's close to my hometown, Mana Madurai, and I just took the next bus and visited the AGM that Gramalaya was organizing. So till then, I was in the corporate side. You are on coat suit, right? And the first time I went to the board meeting, AGM in Puthi, and they put a picture and so they put a picture of me with the coat, and all Ilango and Damodar, who's this guy going up in Dhoti? So I said, that's my earlier avatar. I have to put all this craziness for a foreign company, but now I'm free. I wear chappal and dhoti, yeah? No more shoes, chappal, shoes, socks, all that stuff. Why in a Tamil Nadu climate would you want a shoe? The socks, it's going to be sweating and it's going to smell like anything. But what I was really impressed is about, I studied engineering. I thought I ran an MNC, and what this guys in Tiruchi is going to do. I was in for a big surprise because after the program, I think they presented about all the work they've done, but that's all PowerPoint presentation. So Madharan said you should go to Musuri, our resource center. So there is Nalini, right? She was just maybe 10th, 11th pass, and she told me about anaerobic bacteria. I never heard of it, right? So we all mugged up in schools, aerobic, anaerobic bacteria. I'm sure there are medical college students, and some of you may remember that. So that was really impressed. He said, why do we need a septic tank, right? And you are keeping the fecal matters like a gold in a pot, in a septic tank. Then you have this honeysucker. That's a great name. People have it, right? The tank comes and takes your fecal matters. So he said, we have the EcoSan toilets, twin pits, anaerobic, right? After 3 months, when the pit is full, you move it to the next level. And the first pit, you put your hand in, you have a fertilizer coming out. This is Nalini teaching me anaerobic bacteria. So that's the power of what Gramalaya has done, is thinking futuristic. It is not just about toilets, but it's about the futuristic toilet, right? Why in a crazy, I'm sure all your houses you have a septic tank. Have you ever wondered, why am I keeping my fecal matters there? And keeping it for 20 years like a gold, right? And then moving it. Then you have a sewage, underground sewage systems are there. Very many metros even do not have those as well. So this is what about taking a problem and analyzing, finding a holistic solution. So that's what I'm very, very impressed. Whatever Damodaran does, there is a very, very futuristic. Plus, 35 years of commitment to it. Today's in the social media, people just start yesterday, put it on Instagram, tomorrow 1 million followers, they want to go viral, right? There's a guy called me that you are in Forbes 30 under 30 social, and I've been working on 2 years, you guys are not recognizing me. I said, go meet Damodaran and come back to me, right? So 35 years, he started Swachh Bharat back, and this year government recognized. He did not start that someday government is going to recognize him. That is what about social entrepreneurship is all about. You pick up problem that nobody ever thought about it, and you go really deeper with this strong perseverance of taking for many, many years it takes. So that is the power of what Damodaran could teach youngsters out there is about. Do not look for instant gratification, but then being futuristic. Few years back, when we were building toilets, Damodaran built the world's first microfinance corporation to invest only in toilet. Only world's first microfinance, just only invest in toilets. And yes, we have done around 150 crore worth of investment in just building toilet and water connection. So that is about razor sharp focus on what you're doing. That NBFC, if you're expanded, you'd have been 1,000, 2,000 crores, but he said, no, I want to be only toilets. And RBI had a regulation about if you want NBFC, you cannot do only toilet. We said, we don't want NBFC. We will stay with an NGO. So that's the power of being perseverance and focus. That's what he's able to recognize today that as Washman of India, right? I was really very impressed, Damodaran, that when we received that news, I was very, very happy because I gave Damodaran as an example to all my students, me. We had an event in IIM Bangalore. I invited Damodaran to come and talk about scale with the soul. So people, when they scale, they sell the soul, right? Because if you want to scale and people, some donor will come and tell you, do this. I'm working in Tiruchi. No, do it in Bihar. I will fund you. And maybe, no, just change the not EcoSan toilet, but I want this toilet, right? And some donor will say that, okay, by the way, you just sell my, cleaning materials as well. So this is where about selling the soul is all about. We have said so many no's. In our board meetings, we have so many proposals comes from corporates. And we have said so many no's. The more no you say, your vision is stronger. The more yes you say, you are one of those, +1, that's all. So that is the power of Gramalaya could teach the youngsters. But beyond that, right, when we saw the Swachh Bharat, finally government picked up. That's a dream of every social entrepreneur. You take a problem, you solve it. When government wakes up, your job is done. That's what many non-profits I meet, I said, when you're going to shut down, solving a particular problem, the problem should be done as soon as possible so that next one. So I'm very happy, right, when government picked up Damodar and started looking at what is the next problem that I want to solve. That's what GOK came from. Said menstrual hygiene. So that is where even if you look at that's futuristic. And I'm sure affordable community been using all these products which are not biodegradable. When we started looking at a solution, how you found the EcoSan toilets, every toilet that Gramalaya built is an EcoSan toilet, right? Twin pit. And we have to educate the mason because the mason will say, why do you need a pipe, right? And we have to go break the pipe. We put a pipe, the aerobic bacteria will start coming in. That's how the masons are used for. And we have seen, and every toilet I visit, we have to break it. We have to tell the guys that don't make a hole in it. Similarly, he started looking at about what is the future of this menstrual hygiene. When we start bringing more and more people using napkins, is it biodegradable? Is it futuristic? Because as all of us today, many of you are from the urban community, the amount of waste we create, it is humongous. So when we move people to in this, we don't want to create more waste because the toilets we used to build incinerators as well. But that's what made Damodaran think. The next step is about making a sustainable napkin when we move people from not using it to using it, but let it be futuristic. Because today the world is not sustainable. Every activity that you are doing today, it is not sustainable. It is causing two major problems in the world, climate change and inequality. These are two problems the world is facing today because of the choices each one of us make. What is luxury? Is it buying a BMW car or wearing a handloom or having a biodegradable napkin or eating organic food or a BMW car? So you define luxury. Today the sustainability is a new luxury. But today we have glamour about big houses and luxury cars and stuff, but we are not looking about the carbon we are living. This is a thought I want to leave with, right? Today, US GDP is 7 times more than India's, right? Our per capita income, right? We are almost dollars. It went down few thousand. So hardly people make a lakh and a half a year per capita income. This is including Ambani as well, right? Then look at what is our per capita income. India is a poor country. The solutions that we define should be about sustainable. Because when we bring billions of people into consuming like the West, we are going to contribute a lot. That's the advantage that we have. Thanks to whatever happened, we can build the country sustainably that nobody in the world could do today. US GDP is 7 times more than India, but per capita emission of US is 7 times more than India, right? The US GDP is 7 times more than India, but per capita emissions of every person in US is 6.8 times more than India. So if carbon is a new gold, who is rich? So poor does not mean that they are living in poverty. We are all gods. We are going to go tell them where to live, what to do, all that. But they are living sustainably. But we are pulling them out and say, you get educated, you do all that stuff. But that is what we have to celebrate. Sustainability need to be celebrated, not just in terms of carrying a cloth bags or I will have one sanitary napkin, but every aspect of what you're doing. If you're here promoting about menstrual hygiene using a sustainable way, look at what you're wearing. Many of you are wearing plastic. You're talking about, natural napkin. So every aspect need to be looked at to bring in the sustainable country. And each one of us need to change. I like what you mentioned about the change. This Gandhi person who knows Indians very well, right? They are very good in giving advice. So that's what he said, I am the change. He took the shirt off, right? And said, I want to wear only handlooms. If you're going to tell people, everybody will say Gandhi coat, they put it in their pocket, they'll mug it up, nobody will follow. He knows very well. So you have to be the change. And to be sustainable, it is not giving and coming and giving beyond. About each one of us need to change. If we do not change, the change is not going to happen. Everybody is waiting for the other person to change. And we are very good in Indians giving advice. We don't change, we don't make the change. So that's what Gandhi is very well aware of Indians. He said, be the change. That's only his message, right? I am your message. So this is what we need to look at. What we wear, where we live, what are we eating? Need to be sustainable. I'm very glad Damodaran picked up this futuristic solution for this sanitation part of it, and towards cloth napkins. That's very, very reusable. And that's a futuristic. When Swachh Bharat happening 5 years back, they started experimenting. And every board meeting, the one version, Damodaran will please test it. So I'll go give it to my family and just test it. We'll give a feedback to Damodaran. Today, it emerged as a fantastic product and selling in e-commerce. That is the second part. Is about if you're a non-profit, the cost you have taken in your lifetime, can you end that cost? That's what Damodaran did. In his lifetime, when he was a 20-year-old, coming out of college, went to his home and talking about shit, right? Imagine, is it possible? Today, look at this menstrual hygiene, same thing. I grew up with 5 sisters. I have no idea about this napkin business until I was really old. That's the stupidity we have in our culture. There is something, different and you hide it, you feel ashamed about it. But today we are talking in a conference. This is exactly the change that we need to do. That's what Damodaran has done, the behavioral change, right? So this is a learning we have in Gramalaya as well, right? It is not about building toilets. The first is about the change. The Gramalaya staff go to the village, stay for a week. There is some Kalajata, Skutu happens. The story is sent to them. And then end of the 1 week, there is a person become a messenger. That messenger will communicate the message. Then a demand for a toilet is created. Then guardian goes and give the donation or investment. So this is what the behavioral change is. Today, look at Swachh Bharat, you have advertisement, right, where Amitabh Bachchan pushing people in toilet. But the same thing in menstrual hygiene as well. As I like what Samuel mentioned, behavioral change is very, very important. That is why I'm very glad what Damodaran has done with about change, openly talking about this subject in a conference rather than keeping it to ourselves. Good to see more men in the room as well, right? Otherwise, most of the women think you'll have fully women, the men's toilet will be very empty. I was very, very happy today that we are able to get more men talking about this issue as well. Yesterday, someone mentioned, thanks, sir, you mentioned about this summit on your LinkedIn. I said, I know, I grew up with 5 sisters. So take this message forward, make the change. The change should be sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Naga sir. I think that was encouraging, very informative, and a great definition about luxury. And all of us have a lot to take away, especially people looking at social entrepreneurship as a career going forward. I think Gramalaya and Mr. Damodaran have a lot to share with you, especially the team of Gramalaya. Thank you very much once again, sir. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Padma Venkat for a special speech. And she's the Dean of School of Public Health and from the SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Ma'am, first of all, thank you so much for associating with us. And it's a privilege for us to be a part of you. Over to you, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, faculty, and my dear students. Unlike all the stalwarts who have come here, I cannot claim that I know Mr. Damodaran for a long time. There is a particular reason why this summit is happening, and that is thanks to him, because it's hardly 2 weeks back that he got in touch with me through Suresh and wanted to know whether we can host this conference, which is on menstrual hygiene. And I was just thinking to myself, it's a very short time, can we do it? But the topic was so gripping and so needed and so contemporary that I did not have 2 thoughts about that. But then when I met Mr. Damodaran, my conviction became double, because he came across as someone who is so simple, but who has achieved so much. Of course, I have heard about Gramalaya, and it's like a giant in the NGO sector, not because of the size, but because of the kind of vision they have and the kind of phenomenal work that they have been doing. So I was quite humbled by his presence in my office, and I immediately accepted, especially because we are a university. We teach and we preach public health. but these are people who are practicing public health. And it would be a golden opportunity for all of us, including myself, my faculty, and my students, who are studying about menstrual health and RMN-CHNA, that is reproductive and maternal health and adolescent health. All these the students study, but how much of it is happening around you? I think this would be a wonderful opportunity, and that was one of the reasons why in such a short time we had no doubt that we can accept this. And thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. And I take it as my pleasure to invite all of you, Mr. Damodaran, Mr. Bhatnagar, Dr. Samuel, and Dr. Naga, and all of you who are sitting on the dais. And Naga is an old friend who I have not met for 10 years, and I have immense pleasure in contacting him, getting in touch with him again. And I would like to mention today is a very good day for having this summit because it's World Water Day. What better day can we choose to have this kind of summit? And very happy World Water Day to us. And it is my humble request to all of us that we please be mindful of the amount of water that we use so that we have water for all of us, including life on planet. So at the outset, I would like to thank Sri Damodaran for including us as a partner and to conduct this summit. It is on a very important topic like menstrual health and motherhood, making the PM's office take note of open defecation issues in the country, building 600,000 toilets across the country, innovating on toilets to suit rural communities, and now openly talking about yet another taboo topic in our societies: menstruation, puberty, motherhood, childcare, and so on. He and his team has also innovated a pure cotton, environmentally friendly, reusable sanitary pads. In the context of pollution and sustainability, the women can demonstrate that they can lead by example. Even though the pollution caused by disposable sanitary pads may be small compared to the carbon emissions by the huge industries, but still we can show the way by making a small change. And Mr. Damodaran has become voice of the women, our rural communities, and the poor. I'm amazed at the dedication, the drive, and vision of Mr. Damodaran and his team. He has not only won the hearts of millions, but also a Padma Shri, so well deserved. My heartiest congratulations to you, sir, and your team for the phenomenal work that you do. As public health professionals, we know that these are by no way small achievement. And I'm so happy that the faculty and students of public health are able to attend this summit. Our students are also participating in a poster session during this lunchtime. Please do take some time to walk through the posters and it will greatly encourage them. I'm curious also to learn about the thinking of the future generation. I am just thinking wildly about conducting a hackathon, maybe subsequently, to see what innovations the younger generation can come up. Because normally hackathons are conducted in the engineering sector and by the students of this university included. They keep having hackathons for software apps or some other device or AI-driven devices and so on. But why not for public health? Why not for something that is appropriate? And the delegates have been talking about public health solutions which are affordable, accessible, sustainable, and also very importantly, something which is appropriate. One of my students here, Kirti, she's looking at how appropriate are the interventions that we come up with, the policies. Is it really useful for the public, or is it just on the paper? And also the technological interventions that we come up with. Has it been appropriate for the communities that we are developing it? for. Because even after 75 years of after independence, we have people who do not have safe drinking water in this country. So where have we gone wrong? Even though there are technologies and technologies, what is happening? Probably we have not been designing for that segment of population which requires pure drinking water. That's why our indicators are not going up. Those come from marginalized communities, rural, remote communities, people who can't afford, who are below the poverty line, and so on. That's a sizable number in our country. And are these technologies and interventions appropriate for them? That's why I really liked the idea when Gramalaya's work on the sanitary pads, recyclable sanitary pads, as well as appropriate toilets, has actually paved the way for even um, future interventions by not only India, but also countries abroad. They can really follow this model. So I'm really looking forward to further interactions with Gramalaya, and we hope we can have a good journey together. Maybe our students can work on some of the projects and take up internships and so on. Research projects can be taken up as well. So I really look forward to interactions with all the delegates, and I hope you have a wonderful time. And with these words, I would like to once again welcome all of you to the summit, and I wish the summit all success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Padma Venkat ma'am, thank you for that sharing. And it was quite interesting and very intriguing to know about the hackathon for public health. Very interesting. I would definitely want to be a part of it. And also thank you for welcoming Gramalaya to be a part of the students where they can do their internships and things like that. Thank you very much and associating for us, ma'am. Thank you. I would like to invite Mrs. Sneha Shergill next, who is Mrs. India 2016 and also the brand ambassador for MHM. And she would be sharing insights about the importance of MHM. Welcome, Sneha. Check.
Check. No. No. Check. Good afternoon to all of you, and once again, welcome to the MHM Summit 2.0. Thank you to each one of you for being here today. It's so lovely to see some of you who met me in the year 2019 during the first summit, and even better to see so many more new faces. Even though most of us have wished Mr. Damodaran for receiving the Padma Shri Award recently, I feel it's a must that I do so as well. So congratulations to you once again, sir, for achieving this remarkable feat. Can we all please give him a huge round of applause once again? And I also must say, we are not surprised. Ye to hona hi tha. This had to happen. The passion and perseverance with which you and the entire team of Gramalaya drive every initiative is commendable, and success is bound to be the outcome. When we received a call about this from our very dear Sampath sir, we felt so much a part of this victory. So thank you, Sampath sir, and the team of Gramalaya for making us a part of your celebrations. We're so proud of you, sir. Gramalaya has always set a high benchmark by offering their services towards the betterment of community living and raising the standard of hygiene for adolescent girls and women all around. In fact, congratulations to each one of you present here. for doing your bit, whether it is in individual capacity or as a part of an organization, and for remaining committed to being the change makers in this field. And we're all very much together in this. The COVID-19 virus presented several challenges for all of us. It gave a new perspective to our lives, altered our personal routine, and in some cases also brought our professional work to a standstill. One among the many things that the virus could not stop was our monthly menstrual cycle, our periods. One can only imagine the difficulties daily wage and migrant workers, street vendors, and for that matter, everyone who came from a poor economic background must have faced during their periods, when the only thing at the top of their mind was to come out of the lockdown alive, not having to make an additional expense on personal hygiene products. I wish to divide my talk in two segments. Let's first address the importance of MHM. I'm sure there are hundreds of thoughts that must have crossed your mind when I just mentioned this topic, the importance of MHM. The ease and comfort with which we have gone and bought the commercially available sanitary products for decades altogether has blurred our vision, due to which most women are unable to identify and consider switching to the alternative eco-friendly methods that are available. Aren't most of us stuck in this demand and supply model? And what are we doing to break out of it? Let's say from the time we did our first summit on 26th of September 2019 till date, what have we done? How many people were we able to go and speak to? Even if we just spoke to one person every day, we should have spoken to a little more than 900 people. Were we able to achieve this despite all challenges? How many of you were able to do this? If you could raise your hand up. Wonderful. And how did we do it? By talking, by communicating, by creating awareness on various platforms through our work, and only supporting eco-friendly, sustainable options. Right, ma'am? So our work with Gramalaya started close to roughly about 4 years ago. We all know that our water is contaminated. Our soil and food are adulterated. Our air is polluted. And we humans are stuck in a rat race, handling our daily activities without having the awareness and a moment to spare to think about how this damage is worsening by our very own uninformed decisions and how we are impacting the other living organisms too. So if I have to conclude, may I say, 1, we're in a comfort zone and we just love being there. 2, we are ignorant. We are unaware. 3, we are irresponsible. Not just with the environment, but with our own health as well. For my family, giving back to the society, sustainability, and finding creative methods of problem solving rank the top. Since our forte is training and capacity building, and from a product designer's background, or let's say from a theater and events background, we not only work on spreading awareness about menstrual health and hygiene and the impact of plastic on our environment, but also on installing grey water plants to avoid the water crisis that's coming. We also help in sensitizing our communities to take care of stray animals. The sight of seeing cows
and dogs having to eat from garbage bins, when we see them unknowingly consume plastic bags or used pads. We currently have almost about 300 animals under our care. We get them vaccinated, sterilized, and also try and offer at least one nutritious meal to them so that we don't have to see them eating from the bins. Just recently, when Ajit and I were talking about how our work for the community has evolved, we realized how beautifully it is all intertwined and how imperative it is for us to now garner more support so that we are able to build our own capacity and work towards the betterment in a more holistic manner. In our previous summit, we all had very specifically emphasized on the importance and the need to empower and include women in the decision making at community, state government, as well as the highest parliamentary levels, so that women are not made to feel like second-class citizens. To become a global nation, we cannot have 50% of our population feeling sick, impure, or inadequate and lacking basic health care due to this beautiful natural phenomena of menstruation. A blessing which may otherwise become a curse. I also stressed upon the deep-rooted inequality where a young girl who hits puberty is withdrawn from school and married off at the age of 11 to 13 years, while a boy who hits puberty around the same time is still given the privilege of choice. Why should we as a society steal a child's innocence and burden a young girl to become a mother and take the responsibility of a family at such an early age? If anyone here thinks MHM is a rural India problem, then we are highly mistaken. Yes, there could be slightly more challenges, maybe with the water scarcity or the mentality of the people, the availability of products. But even in urban India, there is still a huge gap and a necessity to share MHM practices at an early age, perhaps with the help of our education system itself. Urban menstruators shouldn't be proud about the single-use pads because they're still not aware of its effects on their health and the environment. They still don't know the waste management issues and how a person who is not wearing protective clothing is exposed to several potential diseases while segregating and handling their menstrual waste. This is where we need to create more menstrual allies. How many of you sitting here have heard about menstrual allies? Do you know what's a menstrual ally? Or who is a menstrual ally? Yes? No? Okay. A menstrual ally can be anybody who can be trained to guide and educate a menstruator about personal hygiene and hygiene products, tracking and understanding her period cycle, knowing when it is best to visit a doctor, as well as take away any inhibitions and stigma attached to the topic. This can be achieved by having an open conversation only. A menstrual ally can also help overcome any superstitious beliefs, be it about foods that can or cannot be consumed, physical movement that should get limited, bad effects on health due to improper hygiene, necessity of nutritious food, safe handling and disposal of used products, and most importantly, the purpose of having this gift, which is to become a mother, if and when she chooses to become one. With this, we come to the current theme for this year, menstruation and motherhood. We all know and understand the importance of having a regular period cycle in order to stay healthy and to be able to conceive. Isn't it weird that we live in a nation where even now, in some places, people don't want to have a girl child, but they all want to have a daughter-in-law who can give them grandchildren and continue their family ahead. Enough of all this, no? Enough of all the emotional trauma, all the harassment and violation of basic human rights. Enough of her isolation for 4 days every month for almost 40 years of her life. Enough of her being made to sit out as if there's something wrong with her body. How important is this education? While I know a lot of sincere sharing and deliberation will happen on several topics in these 2 days, let's use a 5-minute activity to try to make the most of our time while we are together. I'm sure all of you have some writing material. Yes? You all have a writing material. Very good, Gio. May I request you to please draw a circle on a blank piece of paper. Draw a nice big circle. Let's do this. Come on. Come on, come on. Let's see. So here's what we can do, okay? Think about 3 things that you're performing well in the MHM fraternity. And think about 3 things that you feel you need support with. Okay? 3 things that you're doing well already. And think of 3 things that you need support with. No, abhi sirf thinking. Only think. So let's say, for example, Padma Priya ma'am. Maybe you can tell us one of the things that have worked out really well when you're working in this field, and one thing where you feel you may need support.
Things that's really worked out well for us is moving menstrual health discussions from women to the entire community.
Wonderful. So talking about it to everybody.
Everybody, to the men, to the boys, to the teachers, to the community workers.
Okay.
So we don't stop with women. None of our programs are women focused.
Okay.
Focus on 360-degree coverage of the topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have.
Yeah. So we have not focused our discussions or our programs, our targeted interventions to just women. It has never been like that, because unless and until we move the topic outside of women, they are not going to get monetary support, emotional support, change in the social norms. So we have always tried to mainstream discussions to everyone, the men, the boys, the teachers, the parents, the community, and that has really worked well for us. That's really made the communities take notice of what we are doing, because when we go to even schools and then say that we are going to do a training on adolescence, puberty and menstruation, most teachers or head teachers think that we are going to be talking about pads, how to use a pad, why do you get your periods, and to the girls. But then we tell them that we want to speak to everyone. That's when they really say, oh. And then when we speak, then they understand. So that's really gone well. And for me, all 3 things that I want is money and more understanding from donors. So that's what we want, because the work that we do at the moment is in a very small geographic
setting, we would like to take this across. We would like to partner with more organizations, because in the social sector, you don't do anything alone, which is why you have people of so many organizations sitting here discussing the same topic. If we are
Wonderful.
working towards a solution, it has to be all hands come together.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, anyone sitting here who needs support with, bringing her knowledge to the table, the way they have dealt with this situation and made it more inclusive. Anyone sitting here who needs support with this, who's not able to talk to people, right? Ma'am, your name? Chandrika. So, Chandrika ma'am, this is Padma Priya ma'am. Yes? This is where you have to go to when we take a break during the networking sessions. Okay? Ma'am, what is the thing that you need support with?
Okay, I said I need support from other collaborating organizations or from donor agencies to take the work that we do in a small geographic area to kind of be spread.
Expand.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You can look straight at the dais right now. This is where you will get your help. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want you to do. Write inside the circle 3 things that you are doing really well. Write it down. Come on. Let's take 3 minutes to do this activity. It will give us a lot of thought clarity, and our networking breaks will not go waste. 3 things, or maybe more if you can think of, inside the circle that you've been doing well. And 3 things outside the circle where you need support. Done? When you look up, I will know that you're done. Okay. So, today I can tell you that the things you have written inside the circle are our strength. What about things that you've written outside the circle? Sorry? Challenges. Do you think it's a strength or a weakness outside the circle? Right. So it is actually our collective strength. Whatever is written outside the circle is our collective strength. Because right here under the same roof, you have someone who has done it, has been doing it for ages and has championed it. All you have to do is during your networking break, go and meet the right person and do not miss this opportunity to grow together. Yes? I also wanted to, when we were sitting, I was looking at Gio. He was sitting and nicely enjoying his packet of Lays. What's the slogan that goes with Lays? No one can eat just one, right? Why can't we make MHM so popular and this talk so popular that when we speak, we do it with so much conviction, so much energy, and such pure intentions that people cannot fail to listen to what we are saying so that we can help them apply this in their daily lives. Yes? Okay, all the best, all of you. Thank you so much for being here, and I wish Damodaran sir once again, congratulations. We will meet you. We'll be around. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Neha, for your insights. And I'm glad you're bringing all your insights from the 2019 summit to us today. And yes, networking is something that we would appreciate everybody to make use of and talk, learn, and know more. We will have a quick uh, special address by Mr. Manas Rath, the founder of Leap Cities. Thank you, Mr. Manas, for joining us. And I think we go a long way, especially in the water and sanitation sector. We are very eager to know your insights quickly, especially things related to menstrual hygiene and management. Over to you, Mr. Rath. Is this audible?
Thank you very much, Ajit. Is this fine? Yes. All right. Great. Thank you very much, Ajit. Thank you, Gramalaya, Damodaran ji, for inviting me here. It's very nice to be here with all of you. It's hard to go after all of you have spoken, but let me see what I can add to the conversation. Over the next 2 days, a lot of people will talk to you about awareness and understanding of menstrual hygiene, rights and the needs of girls and women, access to safe products, and various social health policy aspects of this topic. What I will try to talk about is something that I understand a little bit, which is what happens after safe menstrual hygiene management, right? And we talked a bit about the waste side of it, what's happening after the pads are used, the environmental and the health angles to it. Now, today, I guess the unfortunate reality is that most women use disposable sanitary pads. Well, many don't use any kind of product, but those who do, from amongst those who do, most use disposable sanitary pads. There are tremendous efforts going on, to make recyclable products, to make reusable products, whether they are cloth pads that can be washed and reused, or there are cups that can again be washed and reused. But equally, out there we have got consumer product companies that are aggressively advertising convenient use and throw sanitary pads. There are low-cost sanitary pad manufacturers. Some might be in this room or will be joining later during this conference, who are trying to sell sanitary pads, use and disposable sanitary pads to new target customer groups, low-income customer groups, rural customer groups, etc. And therefore, I think at least for a while to come, unfortunately, use and throw products are going to be very, very common, more than they should be. And therefore, there is something we need to do so that these used pads don't end up in landfills, don't end up in water bodies, don't end up inside cows and dogs, and also that they're not incinerated, because that's the alternative. We want to burn them because we think that's the safe way to get rid of these used pads. Now, access to safe sanitary products is very important, and there's been a ton of innovation and creativity. And I'd like to highlight 3 examples in this space. First are low-cost sanitary pads. Now, we know that sometimes the alternative to not using even a disposable sanitary pad, often the alternative is much worse. Women use leaves, women use ash, they use unsafe, dirty cloth, right? And therefore, one might say that from a health and hygiene perspective, even if you can't get to the reusable products, at least you have a low-cost sanitary pad that's one step better, not so good for the environment, maybe not perfect for health, but at least that's one step beyond where a lot of women are today. Now, so a few players who have, several players actually, who have found ways to produce, use different materials, use different manufacturing techniques, and also different business models, especially decentralized production and distribution, to make these low-cost pads available to women. Now, this may sound like a fairly simple product engineering challenge, but I think you'll hear from people that there are a lot of challenges. You've got Joydeep, I think, who will speak from Akar Innovations. There are a lot of challenges that they have faced in making their products acceptable to the customer. Now, we have talked about this a little bit today. The customer, in particular, has high expectations and standards. They watch advertisements by all the premium brands. That's what maybe the women that they aspire to be or they want to be are consuming or they're using, right? And therefore, that is what they want. And therefore, once again, it is breaking the mental barriers. It is changing the thought process. It is changing what we consider to be desirable, which actually becomes the main hurdle for companies like these. And I think even for reusable products, sometimes the challenge really is about the consumer preferences and their mindset rather than the product or the performance of the product itself. So my full respect to those players who have been going headlong against customer expectations, against customer aspirations to educate people and to promote the use of low-cost sanitary pads. Okay. The second group is those who have been promoting reusable products, and that's where GeoCare comes in, and we know that Gramalaya and the team have been promoting the use of reusable products, which are much more environmentally friendly and also good for health. So again, something you'll hear about more. These are the most eco-friendly solutions, and therefore, wherever possible, when they can provide the safe and comfortable user experience, these should become the norm for hygiene management. How does one address the advertising juggernaut that we have got in society, where advertising is able to shape our preferences, our beliefs, and our aspirations? I think is going to remain a big challenge, for both the low-cost products and for the reusable products. The third group is those who are really focusing more on the ecological footprint of menstrual hygiene. There's a company which has developed a dissolvable pad. You use it, you flush it down, which is a no-no for regular products, and the flushing action and the material they use causes the sanitary pad to decompose, to dissolve, and then it can be flushed with the water. It's not something I've looked at very closely, so I don't have a strong viewpoint on this, and there might be things that are not so good about it. There might be things that are useful about it. Maybe others in this room know much more about that product. But there is some sort of evolution happening where people are trying new things. And we must make sure that the solutions of today don't become the problems of tomorrow. And that's very important. The other one I want to talk about is the sanitary pads are basically made of pulp and plastic. Right? Pulp comes from trees. And if the highest quality pulp is used in sanitary pads and diapers because it's a hygiene product, it sits close to the skin, and there are health aspects to if the pulp is not of good quality. As far as I know, there's a company out of Pune called PadCare Labs. They'll be here tomorrow, who have developed the world's first process to recycle used sanitary pads. Right. So they have a machine. Young engineering team said, why is this stuff going to landfills? Why are we burning it when this is very expensive, very valuable pulp in there? And they've developed a process over 3-4 years of research and development, which disinfects the pad, separates it out back into pulp and plastic, and that pulp and plastic can then be reused in paper making. They make handmade paper products out of it, chemical industries, etc. Right? So I think our ability to prevent the pads from going to landfills hopefully will be a temporary solution till we get to a point where everyone is using reusable products instead of use and throw products. Okay. I think it's very important that every municipality, every major waste management company, therefore, work on these solutions, look at how they can be incorporated, so that we can have step by step, we tackle the problem one step at a time from various directions. Now, PadCare Labs is one of our portfolio companies at Leap Cities. We don't have a financial investment in them or interest in them, but we do provide strategic and management support to companies like PadCare, who are trying to solve urban problems across waste, water, affordable housing, creating public spaces that are accessible to everyone, water bodies, urban agriculture, and air and noise pollution. Now, I'd just like to close by saying that we need businesses, NGOs, and government and municipalities to take holistic and system-level views on the problems of cities and towns and the problems of people, of how people and nature live in our urban spaces, and how we can make multi-sectoral interventions that can address the problems we face. Now, in a sense, the menstrual hygiene problem is similar, right? There are multiple facets to the problem. It's not a simple unidirectional or a uniface problem. And therefore, we need to intervene in multiple ways, on the side of women, on family norms, on policies, or the waste management, right? All these need to come together to solve the problem. There are no silver bullets, and we must be watchful that our solutions of today don't become the problems of tomorrow, because that, unfortunately, what human beings have been very good at. Right? We solve something today, 10 years later, 20 years later, that's exactly that solution has become the new big problem. Okay? Today, we have the technology and the financial resources to solve every problem if we actually truly wanted to. But for that, we need to come together. We need to put our differences aside. We need to put greed on one side, which is a very, very big challenge. And we need to agree that there are certain basic things that everyone deserves to have and everyone should have. Because only when certain needs of everyone are met is when we all can actually live happy, successful, peaceful, less stressful, and less even guilty lives, right? I hope next year I can come back and like Naga, come back in fully organic, fully khadi, maybe not a lot of dhoti, that's not something I've grown up with. But I really do resonate that ultimately there are big problems and there are small problems, but these things require all of us to come together and for every personal decision to move towards how do we do things in a better way. I'll just share one story. I heard a friend of mine, a very good friend, talking about 4 years ago, and he talked about how one day, this was 2017, 5 years ago, before plastic had become such a big issue where you talked about it all the time, right? And he talked about how one day he decided to stop using plastic bottles. He stopped buying these bottles, right? And I said, hey, you know what? That sounds interesting. Let's see if I can do it. I think over the last 4 years, of course, 2 years was easy because you mostly sat at home. But even the 2 years before that and the months since then, I think I've averaged on buying two or three, or using, not even buying, 2 or 3 PET plastic bottles a year. At a conference, this doesn't need to be opened. So every decision at a personal level, that discipline that starts with small things and then multifolds into how we eat more responsibly, how we dress more responsibly, how we consume, and how we discard things in a more responsible fashion. Right. So I'll end with that. I think we need to focus as an economy. We must recognize that the economy is dependent on society and environment, and not the other way around. Environment can exist very well without society and without the economy. The society can exist without an economy, right? There are a lot of societies even today that work on barter, very, very simple ways to live. And people are living till the age of 100, very healthy, dying in their sleep, no problem, right? The economy, since we are so focused on that, needs a healthy society and needs a healthy environment. And that is where, especially since we've got students in the house, a lot of people think, oh, we'll get to those nice things to do once I've built my career. The problem is, as Naga also said, once you built your career, you have probably made so many deals with the devil that it's very hard that to turn that back and say, okay, today I'm going to switch to a cleaner, better, safer, more responsible lifestyle. So let's start today. Let's make this happen. So with closing, I'd like to, let's all applaud all the innovators, the activists, the social workers, the investors, the policymakers, and influencers who are here and who are not here, who are doing this, who are doing their part to improve the entire life cycle of menstrual hygiene management. I hope that, we can continue to bring good intentions, we can continue to bring financing and wisdom and compassion and creativity, and most importantly, a vision for a better society, a better way that we all can live in, not just the poor or the rich, but, not just women or men, but everyone, right? I mean, and all the spectrum of genders. And I hope that we can, together help in some way, in some small way, to improve the health and well-being of over 330 women in India who are in the menstrual age and 2.5 billion women and girls worldwide. So thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me here, and look forward to the rest of this conference.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rath. Thank you for highlighting on the importance of all of us coming together. We have the college, the students, we have the activists, we have the NGOs, we have the corporate. I think we have to somewhere come together. And that has been the intention of the first MHM Summit. And thank you for highlighting that, Mr. Rath. So now I hand it over to Ms. Preeti Damodaran. Thank you for being and standing behind this whole initiative. And she would guide us through a vote of thanks with the distribution of mementos. Over to you, Preeti.
A very good afternoon to all. It's very nice to see you all after 2 long years, and I could also see a lot of new faces right in here. So, in this great occasion, let us start. Let us take a pledge on MHM. So, kindly, all of you, get up from your seat. Can you stand? I will take the pledge, and you can repeat after me. I will break the silence on menstruation. I will not feel shy. I will take pride. I will spread the word outside and inside the home. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you to all. You can take your seat. Okay. On behalf of Gramalaya and SRM Institute of Science and Technology, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude and thanks to Mr. Ravi Bhatnagar, Director of External Affairs and Partnerships, South Asia, Rekit, New Delhi. I would like to thank Mr. S. Damodaran, founder and CEO of Gramalaya. And I would like to thank Dr. Geeta Jagan and thank you, Mr. Ravi Bhatnagar, sir. We are honored by your presence. Okay. I would like to thank Dr. Rajan Samuel, Managing Director, HFH India, Chennai. I would like to thank Mr. Nagaraja Prakasam, Angel Investor, Mentor and Fund Advisor. Thank you, Mr. Manager, Founder, Lead Cities. Thank you, Mrs. Neha Shagil, Mrs. India 2016, Queen of Substance. Thank you, Mr. Nagaraja Prakasam. Thank you, Dr. Padma Vengat, Dean School of Public Health, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Thank you, ma'am. We are honored by your presence. Thanks to Mr. S. Damodaran, founder and CEO of Gramalaya. Thanks to all the speakers, delegates, and the students of SRM Institute of Science and Technology, and all the participants for honoring by your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Preeti ji, and thank you for standing behind this whole event. So now we would like to take a 10 to 15-minute break. You have coffee and tea served on the right-hand side. On your left-hand side, you can see your snacks, your tea, and coffee out there. The time now is 12:40. We will meet up by 12:50 to 12:55 maximum. Yeah, we'll take a 10 to 15-minute break and we will catch up. And we have another exciting session and we are eager to walk you through that session as well. Thank you very much for your patience and being with us, and let's enjoy that coffee and tea.